Hey everybody, it's Kim here again with another Minisode for Kim and Friends. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for listening. I'm I've been avoiding recording because I got it in my head that I wanted to talk about raising boys, and I'm feeling like sort of scared to talk about this topic for some reason, and I don't think I've landed on exactly why yet. Um so I'm just going to start by saying I don't plan what I'm gonna say when I come on here. I don't write down any notes. I don't have like an outline or a beginning, middle, end. I have thoughts. I have what goes on in my brain. But I just feel like I want to put out there that this is not I don't think what I'm saying is always true or accurate, even for me. Like I can listen back to it and be like, do I really think that or feel that or believe that? Or maybe I did at that moment, at that time, but I don't know, maybe it was just something that was going on that day that made me put it out. So I don't this is not gospel. This is just the inner workings of my brain, which are highly imperfect. So when I think about taking on a topic like mothering boys or raising boys to be great men, for whatever reason, I was able to talk about raising daughters pretty freely and easily isn't the right word, but without um, concern for how it would be received or without, um, I don't know, fear of backlash, maybe, but that doesn't even seem right because I just don't think that many people are listening that don't already identify with my mindset. So it just, it feels overwhelming in a way that the other topics haven't, which kept making me feel like it was that much more important that I go ahead and do it. And very timely also because very timely also because you all just met my son last week, if you hadn't met him already, and got to know a little bit about the little boy on his way to becoming a teenager and then a man that my husband and I are raising. And so when it comes to parenting, period, whether it be girls, boys, whatever, it's all of our first times, right? Like most of us haven't done this multiple times. Some parents have, some, my sister-in-law had two girls and then they took a 10-year break and then they had two more. And I'm sure it was nice to have that information from the first two to help inform what they did with the next two. But sort of my approach with parenting in general is just that it's I just told Edna the other day, this is your first time being a 13-year-old girl. This is also my first time being a mom to a 13-year-old girl. So that's a big deal, right? And there's a lot of room for error. And the stakes are very high with the error. And you don't ever really get to know how badly you've screwed up until later. So there's no instant feedback loop. And I was raised in a house of all women in our own little mini matriarchal society. My mom, mostly just my mom and me for the majority of my growing up years. My sisters were in the house for the first 10-ish years. And then slowly they both left. And then it was just the two of us. So there was never this overwhelming feel, at least in my little unit, of negative talk associated with being a female. I mean, "Oh, why are you crying? You're such a girl." Like, stuff like that. Like, I certainly saw it at school, in society, but it wasn't what was being, like, driven home in my house, and even my dad, when he was there, that's not how he fathered. That's not who he is. He's sweet, kind, sensitive, uh, an artist, uh, things that you would stereotypically associate with not being overtly toxically masculine. So it's more the way society has informed me about men and what they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to interact, and how, in my opinion, this patriarchal society that we live in has given men a raw deal too. And I don't think I hear it described that way very often. I also just want to take a beat and say that, like, I recognize the privilege that it is to live in this country. And I recognize that there are much worse patriarchal societies on this planet existing right now. But that doesn't mean we can't do better. That I kind of cringe at that argument, because it's like, as long as there's somebody doing worse, then we can just be fine with where we are, and that's not accurate. That's not the way I want to move through the world. And I also don't see us moving away from a patriarchy as us taking something away from men. It's too big a load for anybody to carry. And I don't think it's tag y'all are out and now women we're in. And now we're in a matriarchal society. I feel like we can move towards, or at least raise our sons and our daughters towards a place of equitability, equity, no matter how you identify gender wise. It's also not lost on me that what my husband and I have chosen for our roles in our relationship kind of follow those domestic lines to a certain degree. He is the primary breadwinner. I am doing the majority of the kid running and the paper signing and the field trip attending and the meal cooking. um, can't say that about the cleaning. He's a good cleaner, and I am not. But I guess I don't feel like I'm raising my son that much differently than I'm raising my daughter. And that's a gross understatement, because he is going to encounter the world in a different way, and we're going to come across situations that he's going to have to deal with that Edna won't, and vice versa. But at its simplest, I just want my kids to know that home is always safe, no matter if you're angry or sad or acting out or wanting to be left alone or need to take something out on me that doesn't have to do with me at all. I feel like it all starts in the home with whatever your parental unit looks like in your home. For us, with me and with Daniel. And we try to keep level expectations for both of our kids chore wise at their age level. I'm really sensitive to that. I don't want my son, not only just because he's a boy, but because he's the youngest, to get off the hook. And Edna, because she's a girl and because she's the oldest, to have to do more domestic chores or have to do more because she's the oldest. I mean, she does more because she's older and she can, but as he ages, we do, they see Daniel mopping floors and cleaning bathrooms, and they see me cleaning bathrooms and cleaning kitchens, and Edna unloads the dishwasher and Goose loads it. And these seem like small, like minor decisions we've made as parents, but I feel like it resonates on a larger scale. And I feel like the way we talk about the world, the way their dad and I treat each other in front of them and behind closed doors. Um, and it's not so much about trying to make them be the people that I think they should be, or trying to make Goose the man that I think he should be. It's more about trying to figure out the man Goose wants to be, and how can I help him chart that path. And he's already proving to be quite the sensitive boy, which does not disappoint me one bit. But he has never been told that crying is girly. And he likes to have his fingernails and his toenails painted. And nobody in this house, and no one anywhere, aside from a couple boys at school, have tried to make him feel like that was a girly thing. And I also think even when he was told that it was girly, it was kind of a weird thing for him because he doesn't process that word as like an insult or a negative thing. Uh, and I just hope that if he wants to grow up and fall into what might be considered stereotypically male roles as we've set things up, if he is the primary provider, if he works longer hours, if he does less of the housework, if he, falls into some of those stereotypical roles, that it's because that's what he and his partner have decided that they want. And to me, that's feminism. And that also might look like him being a stay-at-home dad. And it doesn't seem like he's really going to play sports. And it looks like he's probably going to be a little more bookish and an inside kid and less of a rough and tumble outside kid, which would typically be considered not as masculine, but not in our house. And I feel like the people we surround ourselves don't look at it that way either. So no matter what path he takes, and no matter what sort of man he morphs into and becomes, I just want to be there to make sure it's one that he can, you know, feel good in his skin most days and feel proud of who he is. And that's the kid, that's the boy I'm trying to raise. That's the girl, the teenager, the woman I'm trying to raise, or that we're trying to raise. And it does feel like an oversimplification to say that we're just raising them the same, because it's not the same, not just due to their gender, but due to, their age difference, due to their own different personalities. We're going to handle them differently. But I hope that maybe just thinking I am, of course, along with Daniel, raising him to be somebody he can feel proud of means that I'll be raising a sensitive, smart, kind, positive contributor to society man. So there's that. Again, not gospel. Don't even know if it's going to make sense when I listen back to it. I've been struggling with this one, so I would love to hear what any of you have to add or say, or what this might have stirred up for you, because like I said, this is most of our first times doing this. Anyway, I think I'm going to get Goose to play a song for y'all too, and we'll end with that today. And I'll hopefully see you all next week. I think I'm going to have Edna on. Bye.